The phone rang at 3:47 in the morning. Sarah Chen bolted upright in bed, her heart slamming against her ribs. The sound was wrong, too loud, too sharp. It wasn't her ringtone, it was the old phone, the landline she kept on her nightstand for emergencies but hadn't heard ring in 3 years. She grabbed it. Hello. Static, then a voice she'd know anywhere. Sarah. Her father, dead 8 months. Dad. I need you to come home, baby girl. Something's wrong with the house. Sarah pressed the phone so hard against her ear it hurt. She could hear wind in the background, trees creaking. The old oak in the front yard, the one she'd climbed as a kid. Dad, you're not. I know, baby, I know. His voice cracked. But I'm here, I don't understand it either. But I'm here and something's wrong and I need you, please. The line went dead. Sarah sat in the dark of her Denver apartment, the phone still pressed to her ear, her dead father's voice echoing in her head. She was 34 years old, a therapist, a woman who didn't believe in ghosts or signs or anything she couldn't explain with science. But she knew that voice. She'd heard it every day for 34 years. She'd heard it fade over those last months, watched cancer steal it one syllable at a time until he could barely whisper. That voice on the phone wasn't weak. It was strong, scared, desperate. She was on the road by 5 a.m. The drive to Ridgway took 6 hours. Highways turned to back roads, turned to gravel. The Colorado mountains rose around her, snow-capped even in late April, beautiful and indifferent. Sarah hadn't been back since the funeral. She'd sold the house to a young couple from Texas, done the whole thing over email, never wanted to see it again. But the GPS said she was close now. 5 miles, 2 miles, half a mile. She turned the final corner and slammed on the brakes. The house was still there, but it was wrong. The windows were dark, but not empty dark, occupied dark, like someone was inside watching. The front porch light flickered, even though it was broad daylight. The oak tree in the yard had grown a new branch, twisted and strange, reaching toward the house like a hand. And there was a car in the driveway she didn't recognize. Sarah got out. The air was cold and still. No birds, no wind, just silence so complete it pressed against her ears. She walked to the front door, raised her hand to knock. The door swung open before she touched it. A woman stood there, maybe 30, with tired eyes and a baby on her hip, the Texas couple. Sarah couldn't remember their names. "You're Sarah," the woman said, not a question. "Yes, I'm sorry, I know this is weird, Your father called you." Sarah's blood went cold. "How do you know that?" The woman stepped aside. "Come in, he's been waiting." The inside of the house was exactly the same. Same furniture, same pictures on the walls, same smell of wood smoke and coffee. Her mother's Afghan was still draped over the same couch. Her father's reading glasses were still on the same end table. Nothing had changed. "I'm Emily," the woman said, setting the baby in a playpen. "This is my husband Tom and our daughter Lily. We moved in 4 months ago." "Your furniture," Sarah said. "It's the same as my parents'." Emily shook her head slowly. "This isn't our furniture. This is how the house was when we arrived. We tried to move things, they moved back." Tom came in from the kitchen. A big man with a gentle face and dark circles under his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. "You heard him too," he said. "Your father, he talks to all of us now." Sarah sat down hard on the couch. The Afghan felt exactly the same, still smelled like her mother's lavender soap. "He called me at 3:47 this morning," she said. "Told me something was wrong with the house." Emily and Tom exchanged a look. "That's when it started," Emily said softly. "Every night at 3:47 he calls, not on the phone, on the baby monitor." Sarah's head snapped up. The baby monitor. Tom walked to the kitchen counter and picked up a small white monitor. He handed it to Sarah. "Listen." Sarah pressed the speaker. Static, then breathing. slow, labored breathing, the sound her father made in those last weeks when breathing was the hardest work he'd ever done. Then a voice. "Sarah, baby girl, I need you to remember." Sarah dropped the monitor like it was on fire. "Remember what?" she whispered. "That's what we've been trying to figure out," Emily said. "He says the same thing every night, over and over. I need you to remember." The three of them sat in the living room as the sun set outside. Sarah told them about her father, about the cancer, about those last weeks when she'd sat by his bed, holding his hand, watching him fade. "He was a contractor," she said. "Built half the houses in this county. This house he built with his own hands, every nail, every board. He used to say he put his whole life into these walls." "And maybe he did," Tom said quietly. "Maybe literally." The baby monitor crackled. Emily went pale. "It's early, it's never early." Sarah grabbed the monitor. "Sarah," her father's voice, but different now, urgent. "Sarah, go to the basement, the south wall, third brick from the left, remember." The monitor went silent. The three of them looked at each other. "I'm not going down there," Emily whispered. "I've never been able to go down there. Something's down there." Tom stood up. "I'll go." "No," Sarah stood too. "This is about me, about my father. I go alone." The basement stairs creaked under her feet. Sarah had been down here 1,000 times as a kid. Her father's workshop, his tools, his projects, the smell of sawdust and motor oil. But tonight it felt different. The darkness seemed thicker. The air was cold and damp, even though the basement had always been dry. She found the south wall, counted bricks from the left. 1, 2, 3. She pressed her hand against the third brick. It moved. Sarah's heart stopped. She pushed harder. The brick slid inward, then popped out, revealing a hollow space behind it. She reached inside. Her fingers touched paper, old paper brittle with age. She pulled out a letter. The envelope was yellowed, the handwriting unmistakable. Her father's, dated 30 years ago. She opened it with shaking hands. "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and I need you to know the truth. This house isn't just wood and nails. It's a promise I made, a promise I couldn't keep any other way. When your mother got sick the first time, when we thought we'd lose her, I made a deal. I didn't believe in anything back then, but I believed in her. So I went to the place your grandmother always warned me about, the old Crossroads at Miller's Creek, and I made an offering. I gave something I didn't know I had. Your mother got better. She lived another 20 years. I thought it was a miracle. I thought I'd imagined the whole thing. But when she finally passed, I understood. The deal wasn't finished. The thing at the Crossroads didn't want my soul. It wanted my time here, with you, with her memory. It wanted to stretch me thin, keep me here long after I should have gone, watching over this house, over this promise. I've been here, Sarah, even after the cancer, even after the funeral. I've been here, watching, waiting for the right moment to tell you. You have to burn this house. Every board, every nail. It's the only way to break the deal, to let me go, to let them go. But you have to choose, because once it's gone, I'm gone. No more phone calls, no more watching over you, just peace. I love you, baby girl. Whatever you decide, I love you. Dad." Sarah read the letter 3 times. Then she folded it carefully and put it in her pocket. She climbed the stairs. Emily and Tom were waiting, their faces white with fear. "What is it?" Emily asked. "What did you find?" Sarah looked at them, at the young family who'd bought her father's house, at the baby sleeping in the playpen, at the life they were trying to build in a place that wasn't theirs. "I need to tell you something," she said, "and then I need you to leave." They didn't want to go. Tom wanted to stay, to help, to understand. But Emily looked at Sarah's face and saw something that made her grab her husband's arm and start packing. By midnight their car was loaded. By 12:30 they were gone. Sarah stood alone in the house where she grew up. She walked through every room, touched every wall, remembered every moment. Her father teaching her to ride a bike in the driveway, her mother singing in the kitchen, Christmas mornings, summer evenings on the porch, the smell of pancakes on Sunday, the sound of her father's laugh. She went to the garage, found the gas can, started in the living room. At 3:47 a.m. she struck the match. The fire caught fast. Older homes always burn quicker. Dry wood, years of memories turned to fuel. Sarah stood in the front yard and watched it burn, watched the flames curl out the windows, watched the roof collapse, watched the oak tree catch and burn like a torch. And in the flames she saw him. Her father standing in the doorway of the burning house, not the sick, wasted man from those last months, the father she remembered from childhood, strong, young, smiling. He raised his hand, waved. And then he was gone. The fire burned for hours. Sarah stayed until the last ember died, until the sun came up over the mountains and showed her nothing but ash and rubble. She got in her car, drove back to Denver. 3 months later, Sarah's phone rang at 3:47 in the morning. She grabbed it before she was fully awake. "Dad." A pause, then a woman's voice. "Sarah, it's Emily from the house." Sarah sat up, heart pounding. "Emily, are you okay? Is everything?" "We're fine, we're good. Tom got a job in California, we moved. Lily's walking now, she's beautiful." "That's great, that's really great." Another pause, longer this time. "Sarah, I need to tell you something. The night we left, the night you burned the house, I didn't tell you everything." Sarah's grip tightened on the phone. "What do you mean?" "Lily, our daughter, she was sick. Before we moved into that house. Really sick. The doctors didn't think she'd make it. We moved to Ridgway for the fresh air, for a change, for anything that might help." "I don't understand." "After we moved in, she got better. Overnight, just better. The doctors called it a miracle. We called it that too, but now I wonder." Sarah thought about her father's letter, about the Crossroads, about deals made in desperation. "Emily, listen to me. If there's anything—" "She's fine, Sarah. She's perfect. I just wanted you to know. Whatever your father did, whatever deal he made, it wasn't just for your mother. It was for everyone who came after, everyone who needed that house." The line went silent. Sarah held the phone for a long time after Emily hung up. She thought about her father, about the house, about fire and ash and the things we leave behind. She thought about deals and sacrifices, and love so fierce it outlasts death. At 4 a.m., she put the phone down and went back to sleep. She never heard from them again. Sarah Chen still practices therapy in Denver. She still doesn't believe in ghosts. Not exactly. But sometimes, late at night, she thinks about that phone call, about her father's voice, about a house that held more than wood and nails. And sometimes, when she's with a patient who's lost someone, who's drowning in grief and guilt and all the things left unsaid, she tells them a story. A story about a father who loved his daughter so much he found a way to come back, just once, to say goodbye. A story about fire and ash, and the things we build that can never really be destroyed. A story about the last call. The one that matters. 6 months after the fire, Sarah drove back to Ridgway. She didn't know why. Something pulled her, something she couldn't name. The property was empty now, just a bare patch of ground where the house had stood. The oak tree was gone. The driveway was overgrown. But someone had planted flowers. Wildflowers, all colors, growing in a perfect circle where the living room used to be. Sarah got out of the car, walked to the circle of flowers, knelt down. In the center, tucked among the blooms, was a small wooden cross, handmade, fresh wood, not weathered yet. And carved into the cross, in handwriting she'd know anywhere. For Sarah, always. She picked up the cross, held it in both hands, and for the first time since the fire, since the funeral, since the long, slow loss of everything she loved, Sarah Chen let herself cry. She cried for her father, for her mother, for the house, for the young family who'd found a miracle, for all the people who'd loved and lost and loved anyway. When she was done, she put the cross back among the flowers. She stood up. She looked at the mountains, the same mountains she'd looked at her whole life, unchanged and unchanging. Then she got in her car and drove home. And she never looked back. The phone never rang at 3:47 again. But sometimes, when Sarah's having a bad day, when the world feels heavy and hope feels far away, she'll catch a whiff of something familiar. Wood smoke, lavender, sawdust. And she'll smile. Because some things don't end. Some things just change. If you or someone you love is grieving, you're not alone. Loss is hard. Love is harder. But love is also the thing that lasts. The thing that outlasts everything. This story is dedicated to everyone who's ever lost someone and wished for one more call. You're not crazy, you're just human. And that's okay. The end.